So we're going to do a 5-element meditation. So really feel the seat you're sitting on and feel grounded, taking some of that energy that we experienced standing and that groundedness into this posture. We're going to begin by focusing on the earth element. And the Buddha said that the earth element is found in whatever in the body is solid and clung to. So we as human beings cling to the body. So whatever we find in the body that's solid, the most solid part is really the bones, the skeleton. When we have an image of what the skeleton looks like, this is earth element. We also probably can imagine how the skeleton looks as it deteriorates into the earth. The Buddha said there's the internal earth element and the external earth element, and it's all the same thing. And other parts of the body that have some firmness to them. And the Buddha talked about our hair on the head, hair of the body, our nails, our teeth, and our skin, all as having earth element. And we can have a sense of that. And also notice that hair is already dead. Teeth, they're done growing, they're not really alive in a sense. Nails, except for where they're rooted maybe. I've heard it said that even the outer layers of the skin are really just dead skin. So in a sense, when we look at a body, mostly what we're seeing is something already dead. And the Buddha talked about other parts of the body that are earth element. The bone marrow, even the muscles, the sinews, the kidneys and heart and liver and diaphragm, spleen, lungs, large and small intestines, the stomach and the contents of the stomach, and feces, all being somewhat solid, having some solid portion as earth element. And he said these are the internal earth element. And both the internal earth element and the external earth element are simply earth element. And they should be seen as they actually are with proper wisdom. This is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. And he said that when we see this, as it actually is with proper wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with the earth element and makes the mind dispassionate towards the earth element. So disenchanted is the word nibbida, dispassionate, viraga. An essential, these are essential steps or essential part of the experience of letting go. And really see the external and the internal and external as the same. Not me, not mine. And notice how it feels to reflect in this way. Does it bring up fear or worry? Or is it calming? Just notice without judgment. Just allowing, feeling to be as it is, pertaining to the earth element. And then we have the water element. It also may be either internal or external. The internal water element is anything that's watery and clung to. Tears, saliva, sweat, mucus, blood, bile, urine, oil on the skin, oil in the joints, fat. The Buddha considered all of these to be primarily water element. And the internal water element and the external water element are simply water element. That should be seen as it actually is with proper wisdom. This is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. When one sees it thus as it actually is, with proper wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with the water element and makes the mind dispassionate towards the water element. And then we have the fire element. It may be either internal or external. Internally, it's anything that's fiery, and clung to. It seems like more of a process than a thing. It's that by which one is warmed, by which one ages and is consumed. It's that by which what is eaten, drunk, and consumed and tasted gets completely digested. So our fire element is engaged right now digesting the meal. And anything else related to heat is internal fire element, which is the same as external fire element. They're simply fire element. And they should be seen as, this is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. Followed by disenchantment and dispassion for the fire element. And then we have the air element. Anything belonging to oneself that is air, airy, and clung to. Upgoing winds, downgoing winds, winds in the belly, winds in the bowels, winds that course through the limbs, the in-breath and the out-breath, and whatever else internally belonging to oneself that is air, airy, and clung to. This is the internal air element. And the internal air element and the external air element are simply air element, and should be seen as it actually is with proper wisdom. This is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. And in doing so, one becomes disenchanted with the air element. It makes the mind dispassionate towards the air element. And then there is the space element, which may be either internal or external. The internal space element is anything that is space, spatial, and clung to, like the holes in the ears, the nostrils, the door of the mouth. And that area where what is eaten, drunk, and consumed and tasted gets swallowed, and where it collects, and where it's excreted from below, and whatever else internally belonging to oneself is space, spatial, and clung to. This is the internal space element. Now, both the internal space element and the external space element are simply space element. But it should be seen as it actually is with proper wisdom. This is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. And then one becomes disenchanted with the space element. It makes the mind dispassionate towards the space element. And the Buddha said we can meditate like the earth. Then anything that comes along, agreeable or disagreeable, will not invade your mind and remain. Because just as all kinds of things, clean and dirty, are thrown upon the earth, the mind will not be distracted, affected, disgusted by whatever comes along if we're meditating like the earth. And the same can be true for water. We can meditate like water. Slowly finding its way to the lowest, most settled point. And when we meditate like water, nothing will invade the mind and remain. Or the Buddha said we can meditate like fire. Burning up whatever comes along without being affected by whether it's agreeable or disagreeable. And neither of those will invade your mind and remain. Meditating like fire. And we can meditate like air. Unaffected by whatever is clean or dirty, just flowing through. The likable and dislikable will not invade the mind and remain. Meditating like air. Or we can meditate like space. And the Buddha said, arisen agreeable or disagreeable contacts will not invade your mind and remain. Just as space is not established anywhere, you can develop a meditation that is like space.